Hello everyone and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. In this whole saber-rattling legalistic battle over Obama's high command that birth control be paid for by Catholic institutions, the whole point is being missed, the larger point. It's being fought against by the church leadership on the entirely wrong grounds. Yes, go ahead and launch a campaign on the battlefield of religious liberties, declare the unconstitutionality of Obama's directive, yada yada, that's all fine. But the bishop should not let this moment pass to declare and fight the real issue, the explicit evil of contraception. It's one thing to stand up in public and say, look, we have these religious beliefs and you're trampling on them. For you to do that is an encroachment on our religious liberty and we will fight it. But if that remains the battle, a fight over religious rights being trampled underfoot by the state, then regardless of how this all turns out, in the end, it will actually be a loss. And the reason is simple. Contraception is evil, intrinsically so. Birth control is an evil long condemned by the church all the way back for centuries and centuries to our earliest beginnings. What matters more than winning a fight over the right to hold our beliefs is the beliefs and teachings themselves. It's not so much that the church is being told to violate our consciences by Obama, but why we hold what we hold in our consciences. This is the perfect opportunity for church leaders to begin to undo, if only slightly, the damage done to the faith for going on nearly 3 generations now. Talk about a gift, it's crazy. After nearly 50 years of massive neglect of church teaching, here is an absolute perfect teaching moment. Forget all the blah blah about religious freedom and focus like a laser beam on why the church teaches what she does. Birth control is an intrinsic evil because, come on, finish the thought, seize the moment and announce definitively why it's evil. Explain the church's teaching, flood parish bulletins with a clearly stated and easily understandable explanation of the church's teaching in this area. Man, a chance comes along like this once in a lifetime. Talk about making a federal case out of something. This is a federal case, literally. It could very easily be the case that God has allowed in His divine providence this golden opportunity for the bishops of the church, who quickly and rightly united around the legal issues in this case, a perfect opportunity to undo the damage of so many of their predecessors who caused so much damage to the faithful by their conspiracy of silence. When Pope Paul VI released his 1968 encyclical Humanae Vitae, reaffirming the Church's long-standing condemnation of birth control, bishops of the time, almost to a man, either rejected or ignored it, thus sending the signal that Rome says one thing, but we do something else. There were notable exceptions, namely Cardinal O'Boyle in Washington, D.C., but they were the exceptions. Nearly all the bishops of the time caved to the popular culture, and to one degree or another, this was creating this attitude of rebellion was born. This attitude has remained the status quo now for the past nearly 50 years in virtually every quarter of the church. It has created a usurping of numerous other church teachings, which in turn has caused a massive exodus from the faith. For a teaching that condemns birth control, the controversy around it itself has given birth to a near total collapse of the faith in the West. In its foul wake, this attitude of rebellion has left a Catholic complicity in abortion, divorce, single-parent homes, fatherless children, cohabitation, premarital sex, sodomy, fornication, pornography, a moral meltdown unprecedented in 2,000 years of sacred history, a near global apostasy. Can anyone doubt, seriously, that hell itself is choking on the number of souls who have plunged headlong into the fiery pit because of the sins of the flesh? Our Lady herself showed the children at Fatima the terrors of hell and the countless souls that go there, and she attributed the fate of most of them to sins against purity. If that was the case 50 years before the so-called sexual revolution of the 1960s, what must be the case now? This current case has given the Church an opportunity like no other to stand up and explain her teaching in the clearest voice possible And this time, she can point back to Humanae Vitae and say how right Pope Paul VI was, that birth control would destroy relationships between men and women. Families would be obliterated, and ultimately society itself. Let us pray for the real issue not to be passed over here amidst all the hand-wringing about religious liberty. After all, what good is religious liberty and freedom if it isn't used to declare the truth? God love you. I'm Michael Voris.